So here we've just come to the one of the king's palaces here in Kampala. Akitani Palace, wasn't it? Mengo. So it's called Mengo Palace.
The house is called Kwekobe. Yeah. So recording continue?
For sure.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So I use Uganda
English, please.
Okay. So the place where we are is the capital of Uganda King. Yeah. Though the king does not live here, the reasons why the king can't sleep here is what happened in 1966. The bad history attached on the palace. This palace was once attacked by Idi Amin's army. Yeah, many people were killed from here. Everything was destroyed. And in the kingdom, the king in our culture doesn't shed blood intentionally. So we believe that this place was once a bloodshed. That's why he can't sleep here, though it is the capital for the kingdom. He comes here when he has his visitors to meet, his official guests, especially from abroad. He meets them from here. After meeting them, he proceeds out to other palaces. Yeah. This palace is sitting on 260 acres.
260 acres?
Yeah,
nice.
260 acres of land. Yeah, it has 4 main gates. There is this one, the main entrance, which has 2 lions on top. Yes, that is called Wankachi, the Uganda name. Long ago, the king was the only person allowed to use that gate. Yeah. When you travel this side, when you are heading from a town called Chibuye, yeah, there is a gate which is called Kalala. Kalala was the gate for the wife, the king, the queen, used that gate. When you slope down, there is another town in Indeba. There is a gate there, which is called Sabagabo. Sabagabo was a gate for the guests, for the king, and the gifts for the king. So there is another small gate where they used to pass all the unwanted material in the palace, and also any person who has died inside in the palace, they use that small gate as the exit for everything. So this palace, it was established by King Daniel Mwanga in 1885. Buganda Kingdom, each king when he came on the throne, he had a role of identifying a place where he can build his palace. Kings normally selected hilltops for the strategic importance and security purposes. In the year of 1885, King Daniel Mwanga came and identified this hill. The kingdom has had over 36 kings because it has existed over 900 years back. In pictures and photography, we majorly begin with the 30th king, and that is King Mutesa I. The reason why we begin with him, it's when cameras and photography appeared in Africa. Other kings existed before we received photography in Africa. And the kingdom is based on clans. The kingdom has 56 clans. Each clan has a clan symbol, which we call a totem. These clan symbols were selected responsibly for easy identification of each clan. Clan symbols, some of them are animals, some of them are plants, some of them are insects, some clan symbols are birds. Actually, many of them are represented on the Royal Mile in form of sculptures. Yeah. When you have a walk on the Royal Mile, you'll be able to see some of the sculptures of the totems. And each clan in the kingdom has a role to play in the king's palace since history of the kingdom. So when King Daniel Mwanga came and identified this hill, he found here people of the Hippopotamus clan. The people of the Hippopotamus clan utilized this hill. In the kingdom, they are herbalists. They have a role of providing medicines and the herbs to the people of the kingdom. So when he came here, he built his ancient palace here on the hill. This hill is so strategic in Kampala. When you stand on it, you can receive a very good view of the city. So he displaced them and built his ancient palace here. When he was living here for some time, his palace caught fire. His palace was the ancient one, not this modern one. His palace caught fire. He ran off from the hill. He went somewhere and started residing with his prime minister. They went into research to find out what exactly caused fire to attack the palace. That's where the king came to know about it, that the people of the hippopotamus clan were not happy with what he did of taking up the hill. King Daniel Mwanga came back after realizing that. He called all the people of the hippopotamus clan to come and pick all their belongings and take them off from the hill. And among the belongings we had the grinding stones. The grinding stones were used to grind much of their herbs and the medicines to the kingdom, since their role they were herbalists. In the local language, which is Luganda, a grinding stone is called Olubengo.
So are they describing herbs? So spices, peppers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So grinding stone in the local language, it is called Olubengo. When it is in plural form, they are called Emengo. So this hill today derives its name from the grinding stones, after when they were shifted and taken away. Because when they came to pick them, they were referring the place that Batuise Yetereka Emengo.
Okay.
So after shifting the grinding stones, it retained the name. King Daniel Mwanga came into power during the colonial era, and our colonial masters were the British. This man, he was the first king of Uganda to sign agreements with the British government. In 1894, he signed the British Protectorate with Sir Gerard Portal, making Uganda to be a British protectorate and officially to be colonized by the British rule. This man, due to some British policies which didn't favor his kingdom, he opened up battles
against the British?
Yeah, against the British government. He started fighting them. This man was even exiled twice by the British. This man, he came into power when the Christian missionaries have also arrived.
To spread the word of Christ?
Yeah, to spread the word of Christ. And he was a staunch traditionalist who didn't know any Jesus.
Okay, so they believed in traditional ways of life, religion, customs.
Yeah. And for them, the missionaries, when they arrived in Africa, they were claiming that Jesus Christ was the king.
Of Africa?
When they arrived in Africa, the missionaries, when they were preaching the gospel, they were claiming that Jesus Christ is the king, as it is today.
Okay. And what did the people get in return when the Christian mercenaries came to Africa?
Yeah, many people embraced Christianity. I'll take you back on the reign of the dad of King Daniel Mwanga. Because this man, Mutesa I, the dad to Mwanga, is the person who wrote a letter to call the Christian missionaries
to Uganda.
To come and teach people of Buganda specifically, because by that time we did not have Uganda. To come and teach the people of Buganda how to read and write.
So the Christian mercenaries taught the Buganda people how to read and write?
Yeah.
What did they get in return?
The Christian missionaries? So the Christian missionaries were the ambassadors. I'm sorry to say this, but they paved way for colonialism.
Okay.
I would say that's the way how they gained.
So they sabotaged the Buganda kingdom and allowed the British, through Christian mercenaries, to provide, open the doors for Uganda to be colonized by the British.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, we shall say that there is a way we say it, that the flag, the symbol of the cross was being followed by the flag.
Wow. So it's called the British Crusade.
Yeah.
So the Crusaders came on the vice of Christianity, and through Christianity the Crusaders brought to Uganda the colonization of Uganda.
Yeah. So,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So when they preached Christianity,
they also preached the British.
The hearts of the people.
Wow.
So
okay.
That in Christianity they say when they slap you on this cheek,
you turn the other cheek.
So
wow.
All the property, all the favorable areas in the country
was then given over to the Brits through the disguise of religion of Christian mercenaries. So the Christian mercenaries, in a sense, came through Uganda through a calm, collective manner, imprinted their footprint in Uganda or Buganda Kingdom, and then when the British were ready to colonize, they came with their army and attacked with the pretense or the false assistance of the Christian mercenaries.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Religion,
there is,
huh?
Yeah, there is a way how the religion penetrated the hearts
Mm-hmm.
of the Africans, the people of Uganda.
Mm-hmm. And they sold their land, they sold their profitability,
Yeah,
and
everything.
everything to the Christian mercenaries who exploited them, using it through the force of religion.
Yeah, indeed. So when this man, Mutesa, one who wrote a letter, for him he did not embrace Christianity. Actually, he died before embracing Christianity. Because when they came preaching Christianity, this man personally had 80 official wives.
80
Yes.
official wives.
Yes. And Christianity preaches that
You're not allowed to have one.
you have to have only one wife. So for him he said that no, go and preach my people the word of God. Me, I will see later whether I'll be able to pick up the word of the Lord. So for him he died without before embracing Christianity.
Wow.
But the people were so much devoted into Christianity. So when the missionaries back on King Mwanga, when the missionaries are entering Africa, King Mwanga was on the throne, the son of King Mutesa. They were claiming Jesus Christ to be the king as it is in church. That was a threat to him, because for him he thought that Jesus Christ is going to overthrow him.
So he was actually ahead of the Buganda people, he had the Buganda people's best interest at heart, because he didn't believe in the Christian mercenaries.
Yeah.
He saw beyond the pretense of religion and, you know, I'm here to help you and you don't want nothing in return.
Yeah.
Okay, but then wow.
Yeah. At first he saw the British as good people.
For sure.
That's why they signed the protectorate agreement. But later he said no.
These British have basically come to use my people.
Yeah. So he turned against them. This man, there is a book which is written about him. Whenever they were used to recite the Apostles' Creed, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. That statement, thy kingdom come, he thought that there is a kingdom which is going to come and take over the Uganda kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah. So he fought so much the Christian missionaries. That's why even the saga of the Namugongo happened. I don't know if you heard of the Namugongo place.
The shrine.
Yeah. There are the shrines in Namugongo.
Okay.
Where many people were killed because of their religion. They died because of their
religion. So was it because of the British, or because there was into Ugandan people fighting one another because of religion?
Yeah, these people embraced Christianity too much, up to the extent that they were not, they were disloyal to the king of Buganda.
Okay, and there were more for the Christian mercenaries now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Bible says that you only kneel for God. You only kneel before God, not any other person.
For sure.
And in the kingdom, people were kneeling for the king.
Right.
So they stopped being loyal to the king. And they claimed that they were serving Jesus Christ, which annoyed the king, King Daniel Mwanga. They were burnt in Namugongo. Many of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because of their religion.
Wow.
They were ordered to... yeah. So here, King Daniel Mwanga was the first king to live here. This man, to make the story short, he was exiled in the Seychelles Island by the British government. That was the second time. He lived there up to 1903. He died from there. His remains were brought back and buried in the Kasubi tombs. That's the UNESCO heritage site today.
Oh, wow, okay.
King Mwanga was buried there following his dad, Mutesa I. So this, we got a new king. He was called King David Chwa. He was an infant king. He was only 1 year old. He succeeded the father. King David Chwa came on the throne when even people had no hopes in him. He was given reagents to help him govern the kingdom. 3 of them as caretakers. As a young boy, he grew up. He was so much educated on the side of the British government. He was the first king of Buganda to travel so many outside countries. He saw so many changes, especially in Europe. From there, in 1922, he admired the modern buildings and structures. And this was what he did. By that time in Africa, it was quite difficult to find such a modern house. It took for him 11 years. After admiring the modern buildings and structures in Britain, he came back and embarked on the construction of the modern palace. Actually, this is one of the first modern houses which were had in Uganda. From 1922 to 1933, he was making this. It is called Twekobe. Twekobe is a Luganda word which means unity. Clans joined up together to support the king erect a house. Again, by that time in Africa and Uganda particularly, girls and women were not permitted to receive education. Education was for boys only. Girls were reserved to be marriage materials in Africa.
So, wow, thank God now they're allowed to be educated, they can drive,
Yeah.
you know, they can live their life like similar to boys.
Yeah. When you visit societies in Kenya, the Kikuyu, the Nandi, many of them were taking girls to be inferior.
Okay.
Even if you go to Nigeria, many societies in Africa, even Uganda here. But when this king traveled to countries, abroad he saw ladies going to school. Countries could produce powerful ladies in Europe who could bring out beautiful ideas on board. When he returned to Africa, he was the king who embarked on girl-child education. Girls started going to school during his reign. In Uganda, we received the first woman doctor, a lady who was called Josephine Namboze from Masaka. Furthermore, in the kingdom, girls and women were not allowed to eat the eggs and chicken, where they were for only boys and men. We believe that they were cast on their side. If a woman eats that, she might not give birth. When he traveled abroad, he saw ladies there enjoying them and nothing could happen to them. He came back and permitted them to also eat such.
Okay, so that was ignorance on the Uganda kingdom's part.
Yeah. So since he was a modern king, this man, he made his first church wedding. Long ago in Africa, we had customary marriages.
What do you mean by customary marriages?
We had our marriages. We could a man could visit the parents' home, and they reach an agreement. Actually, there was no any legal way of officiating the marriage.
Okay.
Yeah. So when this king came into power, since he was so much in the British government in England, he was an Anglican by the influence of the Church of England. He married his first wife here, Drusilla Namaganda, at the St. Paul's Cathedral, the center for the Anglicans. Yeah, that's when we got the first church wedding, which wasn't there here in Uganda.
Oh, so before that it was just you'd go to somebody's house, you say, I want to marry your daughter, and from there they'd be married, and there's no ceremony. Agree. Okay.
No forms to sign, nothing.
It's just, okay, you're married now.
Yeah. Yeah. So for him, he officiated his wedding in the church. So this king, he liked football so much, he was Uganda's first FUFA president. Okay, so Football Association, yeah? Of Uganda. This man, he participated in the First World War on the side of the British as a captain. But unfortunately, he died of diabetes at the age of 43. He was buried in the Kasubi tombs to succeed his dad, Mwanga, who was also there. We received the last king to sleep here, who was called King Mutesa II. Mutesa was also educated like the dad. In Britain as well? Or? Yeah, in Britain. Mutesa graduated here in Makerere University. Mutesa continued to Cambridge University. He graduated in the Sandhurst Royal Military Academy. Wow, okay. Britain. Yes, elite army academy in the UK. Yeah. Very elite. So he served as the royal guard to the Queen of England. That is Queen Elizabeth. Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, indeed. So Mutesa returned back to Africa when many African countries were struggling for their independence. He engaged himself. He made sure that Uganda receives her independence on 9th October 1962. How did he do this? Through war or through negotiation with the British? Negotiations. He sat down, negotiations. Actually, him ensuring that Uganda receives independence, it gave nearby countries courage, like Kenya. Jomo Kenyatta also did the same. Actually, personally, Jomo Kenyatta entered here, Uganda. He personally asked King Mutesa for advice. How have you done it? How have you convinced these people to leave your country? Yeah, that self-rule will be more important to us. He was able to convince, Mutesa was able to convince Jomo Kenyatta, and he was able to take him through. Actually, he gave him a firm shoulder, and Jomo Kenyatta ensured that Kenya receives independence a year after us here in Uganda. Okay. So, Mutesa, when he received independence, he was elected to be the Uganda's president by the parliament due to his intellectual ability. Becoming the president, he became the chief commander of the armed forces at the same time. He was same time the president
and chief commander.
The chief commander and again the king of Uganda King. So this man served as the president for only 3 years. That's when he got misunderstandings between him and his prime minister, who was called Milton Obote. So Obote, who was the prime minister, ordered Idi Amin, who was an army commander, to attack this palace in 1966 with the name of arresting the king. He managed to escape from here. He ran back to Britain where he was before, and in 1969 this man died from there. After celebrating his birthday, this man died. It is alleged that this man was poisoned. No report was made to make his death clear.
So it was just a rumor.
Yeah, it is reported that the Scotland Yard had no good technology to separate wine from poison, since he was holding his glass of wine.
So Scotland Yard is the London Metropolitan Police.
Yeah.
Just to confirm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had no technology by that time.
Yeah, they were very infant per se.
Yeah. So Obote here made himself the president, and he abolished all the kingdoms in Uganda. In Uganda, we majorly have 5 kingdoms. We have Buganda in the central where we are. We have Busoga in the east when you're crossing River Nile. We have Bunyoro in the west. Then we have Ankole and Toro in the southwest. But among all from history, Uganda has been the strongest and the most dominant kingdom. So when Obote was abolishing kingdoms, he particularly abolished Buganda to destroy its superiority. That meant that all the property which belonged to the kingdoms had to be absorbed in the central government, including this palace. It was taken up and used as a military barracks.
Wow.
Yeah. Idi Amin betrayed his boss, Milton Obote. Idi Amin, he was an army commander.
And that's Idi Amin Dada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he betrayed Obote. He made himself the president in 1971 after the coup. Obote had gone for Commonwealth meeting in Singapore. He overthrew him. So Idi Amin knew it in mind that the people of Buganda don't like him. What he did first is to return back the remains of the king from exile as a way of buying back land.
Wow, so he bought loyalty in a sense and appreciation.
Yeah. So the people liked him for that, but he did not restore kingdoms, continued using this palace as a barracks. So we are going to proceed. We are going to see the Royal Mile, his gun, the remains of the cars, and the chambers of
Perfect.
Yeah.
So Idi Amin had a torture chamber, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
We shall be able to see one of them. The reason why you have lions here, we compare the king to the lion.
And in Luganda, Napologoma.
Yes, it's called Empologoma.
Empologoma.
Yeah. It's also one of the clans.
For sure.
Yeah, the people of the lion clan, their role, when the king is building his house, they lay the first foundation.
Wow.
And when there is good news in the kingdom, there is a type of drum which they sound. Yeah, to communicate that the kingdom has good news. Maybe when the new prince is born, and so forth. Yeah. We have a road here which connects the palace to the parliament. It is one straight road which is called the Royal Mile.
The Royal Mile.
Yeah. It was King Mutesa II. Mutesa is the dad to the king today on the throne. Mutesa, he visited King George V's palace.
In the United Kingdom?
Yeah. That is Scotland, Edinburgh. Yeah. When he was there, he admired King George's Royal Mile. King George's Royal Mile was connecting his palace to his parliament.
Wow.
Yeah. When he returned, he transferred this similar idea. He first constructed the parliament across. He made sure that the parliament is facing his house. Then he constructed a road joining the two buildings. It became the Royal Mile of Buganda Kingdom. This Royal Mile has sculptures of the different totems to represent the clans which we have in the kingdom. There are 56. Again, the road has two roundabouts. There is this small one here which has blocks in the middle of it. Again, there is another one in the middle of the road in form of a splitted drum. These roundabouts were copied from Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia.
Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, okay.
Yeah. When Mutesa visited him, he also robbed the same idea.
Okay.
Came with it, yeah.
Okay.
So only the king is allowed to go through these roundabouts. Yeah, this is symbolic. When the king is speaking or making any decision, he's always straightforward. Yeah, that's why he's the only person allowed to go through. You can proceed on the gun. So we have this gun here. This was one of Idi Amin's weapons, one of his trusted tools. Idi Amin came into power in 1971 after when he overthrew his master, Milton Obote, who was his boss. Idi Amin found this palace being used as a military barracks. He continued using it for the same purpose. Idi Amin was a great friend to Colonel Muammar Gaddafi of Libya.
Gaddafi of Libya?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gaddafi, okay, yeah, Libya, North Africa.
Yeah. So Idi Amin, when he had rumors that his former boss, Obote, is coming back from Tanzania to fight him, Idi Amin went to Gaddafi and solicited some support of military tools. And it is so imperative to tell you that Idi Amin's foreign policy was somehow poor.
Yeah, very poor.
Yeah. The relationship with his neighbors was not very good. Actually, to give you an example, he was always at war. Verbal war with
Tanzania,
Nyerere, even Kenya. So it was a threat to him to hear that Obote might come back from Tanzania. So he had to solicit some support, and he makes himself equipped and ready to fight Obote. So there were quite many guns of such a kind here, but when His Excellency Museveni restored kingdoms in 1993, other machines were shifted and taken. This was retained back because it was no longer working and act as a memory that this palace was once
a military base. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it is here. You can proceed on the car. So we have some of the vehicles here. Don't worry about the condition which they are in.
For sure.
Yeah. In the late 50s, the King Mutesa II, the dad to the king today, he was recognized to be one of the richest men in Africa in the late 50s. This man owned good vehicles which he used to drive. This man is very much remembered of being a social king, and people liked him so much. He was so popular in the faces of his people. When Idi Amin and Obote attacked the palace, they had envy and jealousy on him. They made sure that they destroyed much of his property. Many of his cars were burnt, others were smashed using tractors and graders, and they were buried in the ground. These were just retained from where they were dispersed and packed here. On top, this black one, it was burnt. This is a frame of Mercedes-Benz Daimler. The Daimler-Benz is sitting on a frame of a Cadillac. Then at the back we have another part here. Wheels of a Rolls-Royce limousine convertible. Yeah. One Rolls-Royce was given to him by the Queen of England as a token of appreciation since he served there in the Royal Guard. This man bought himself more two Rolls Royces. One of them he gave them, one of them has been fixed recently, and given to his son, the reigning king, as a birthday gift of this year. He has it. Yeah. So the families which you are seeing around the palace ground in the compound, today the government of Uganda, from His Excellency Museveni, gave security to the king, a unit from the Uganda People's Defense Forces called KPU, Kabaka Protection Unit. Their families are the ones which are residing here. So
these are part of like the royal family, huh?
Not really.
Oh.
Just security from UPDF.
Okay.
Yeah. Since each clan had a role to play, long ago each clan could send a representative to sleep near the king. But since the king no longer sleeps here, that's why the chiefs no longer live here. These are just families for the security men. Yeah. We are going to stop here and go to the chamber of Idami.